the Brown boys, the Brown boys, the Brown boys, we the Brown boys, the Brown boys, we the Brown boys. God dang.
Yeah.
So it's more of a class thing than anything else. I've always, because of what my father done, because of some of my brothers, I've always been, oh, he from welfare? Oh, I've always been, he may not be our cup of tea. And that's by black people, not just white people.
But see, I think it's deeper than that, though, with Stephen A. Smith, to be honest with you. Let me explain why. I was part of the executive committee.
I had to bite my lip because I'm like, ain't no damn deeper than that. But he didn't talk about Stephen A. He talked about David Stern. He's about to switch gears and tell you how David Stern now goes in a meeting, and guess who David Stern, the owner, the NBA commissioner. Guess who the NBA commissioner is talking about? Kwame. So now I feel like the Jadakiss song. Who they talk about? Me. Who they talk about? Me. That's all they talk about.
With the union. And I'm right there with the negotiations during the lockouts and the collective bargaining negotiations, listening to David Stern appeal to everyone, talking about why he feels that is imperative, because using that word, it is imperative for us to have an age limit. And he used Kwame Brown as the number one reason. And he was quoting different things. I heard this out of his mouth. Like, this is not hearsay or me saying that I heard he was doing this. I'm sitting there and watching him do this. You know, this was firsthand information. And anybody that was on that executive board can tell you the same thing, including Billy Hunter. And I heard him quoting Stephen A. Smith and quoting Sally Jenkins and quoting all these different things about you to say why high school players are not prepared to be in the NBA. I think it was
some unfounded claims from two people that don't even know me. Forget my body of work before I got to the NBA. Forget that I had a job at 14 and I made the newspaper. They could have looked it up, didn't they investigate? Forget that they did a background check on me and everything about me was clean. And so forget all that. And I think what they did to me was criminal. I really think that I could sue them, but it would cost so much money. But I really think what they did was they used me as the poster child for this age limit or for a reason why kids couldn't come out of high school. So everything Kwame Brown was always negative. Any reporter that talked to me, they would change the words I was saying to make me sound dumb. They would leave things out. And I'm like, I didn't even say that.
Right.
I'm like, what is wrong with you? They were like, well, you said that, but I might have left that out. I'm like, when you leave that out, it changes the entire sentence. It changes what I'm saying. You're making me look like Gutter Man. Like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
And it's like, so I said, you want me to look a certain way? I'm just going to stop talking.
Yes, they wanted you to look a certain way. That's 100% the reason. And the lady Sally Jenkins, I mean, I don't know. I still think you need I don't know the statute of limitations or whatever, but I think you should have a lawsuit against her because everything that she printed were lies. That's defamation of character. You can't just make stuff up. And I mean, there's character witnesses that say, no, that's not true. I remember reading that piece and I was like, wait a minute. Kwame Brown he don't know how to order food. He don't know how to take clothes to dry cleaner. I just was with him.
How hard is it to take
order food just fine?
This was sad about that though. First of all, I never even read this thing. I didn't even deal with the media. You know how I did. But how hard is it to take clothes to the dry cleaner? I do it now. I'm so familiar with the dry cleaner. I just hand them the bag. They hand me a ticket. That's alcohol.
It's not rocket science.
Like, what are you doing? Like, the sad reality of it is for black people to believe that I come from the hood. They used to give me the paperback stamps and go to the store with a list, and I come back with everything. I used to be able to buy beer at 9 years old. When you were from the hood, you already know. They teach you and raise you up earlier so you can help raise the younger sibling. So to pretend like I'm like some regular, age kid, when you met me, I'm well. And everyone knows this about people from the hood. You can be taught good things coming from the hood, and you can be taught bad things. Being from the hood, parents try to get their kids to be able to fend for themselves very early because it's a lot going on in the hood. So you got to look out for your brother and sister. They make sure that if you have a younger sibling, they coach you up. They show you how to look after them and watch them. You got to help. So if you want to learn that street stuff, you can learn that street stuff too. But the one thing you're going to learn is how to be responsible. You're going to learn right from wrong, what you choose to do, because it's right there for you. But what you choose to do is up to you. But mama going to teach you that your ass going to stay here and watch your little brother. And you ain't going to be disrespectful or irresponsible either. So to pretend like you can leave a normal age kid, a normal 10 or 11-year-old with their younger siblings, and the whole house could burn down. You leave me at 12, 13 with my other sibling. I'm going to cook them some food. I'm going to make sure everything's straight, do homework with them. Everything going to be good because I was taught to do so. So I don't understand this shit. You can learn what you want. It's about you gonna earn your keep. You got right. You ain't gonna just stay up in here for free. So when white folks, when them liberal white women do shit like this is what I don't like. My transcript is public records. So to pretend like a guy that's ready, I wasn't none of these college students or these basketball players that had to go Prop 48. I was ready to go. Ain't nobody had to sit back and take no test for me. I was ready to go. So to have this lady and Stephen A. coupled together, writing articles, and then Stephen A. going to do stand-up comedic style information to teenagers. They went after the youngest minds, sending this man to schools and high schools and colleges. Why? They wanted young people. Because I'm telling you, after I went pro, there's been like 7, 8, 9, 10 people from my little small hometown from my hometown alone. I swear we probably got about 10 or 12 people, maybe even more than that, maybe like 14 now, that done gone pro from some sort of sport, whether it be baseball, mostly football, a few baseball. Like, they don't understand. Well, they understand about inspiring a generation. That's why they only show our generation shooting movies and cocaine cowboy shows and all that. They want to inspire them. They just want to inspire them in a different way. So having a kid that come from the area that you come from, that's why the Allen Iverson effect was so great. They wasn't going to let that shit happen again. Allen Iverson ran the NBA over Kobe because the hood identified with Allen Iverson. They hate that. Why you think they attacked Allen Iverson so much? He looked like the culture. He wore chains. Now, I wouldn't have wore chains and all that, but he inspired people to put down that gun and go hoop. This is what dudes thought, like, damn, this dude was just in jail. He was in prison and he made it to the league. He went to college, made it to the league. That inspires people. So they don't want that. They know to go right to the core. Okay, Stephen A., go tell these kids that Kwame Brown ain't shit. Go tell these kids the joke on Kwame Brown. They wasn't telling them about that money. I wish they would have told them both. Yeah, he making $4 million to sit on their bench. And I guarantee you, every child that's in that car would be like, well, shit, I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. He ain't the one telling y'all to sit him on the damn bench. He making $4 million. Sign me up to be a bust, then, if that's what you saying. But see, they wanted to sway people's opinion. And that's what they do. So the fact that she would write some crap like that, I'm telling you, I believe it was all a part of their plan to make me look a certain way, because everything that I actually did was amplified. I got a speeding ticket. They made me like I was the worst thing in the world. David Stern came to see me. They printed it. And then I remember LeBron got a speeding ticket. And he said, why should they make cars go this fast?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, that was the king. Oh, he did.
Right.
I said, holy shit.
But the thing is, and going back to hearing David Stern in the meetings, it's like verbatim quoting. So and everybody has to know how David Stern.
Let me ask you this: was that recorded?
Nah, those meetings were recorded. I don't think so, at least for now. Those were when it goes. But everybody was there. But the thing about it is, he didn't use any examples of any of the. He didn't use any Kobe, any Tracy McGrady, any all the other players that came straight out of high school and did well.
Al Harrington.
No, there's a whole list. But they focus on you. But you got to understand how David Stern operates. He plants things in the media. So he puts people out in the media. So when they cast it, so we would be sitting there during the meetings, right? And the meeting would be over. Okay. 5 minutes later, we turn on the TV and the person is saying verbatim what was in the meeting. Like verbatim. This person said this. I was like, wait a minute. I don't know this. It's only been 5-10 minutes. I gotta know all these details. But the thing, I mean, it's David Stern went on a campaign to make all players that come out of high school look like they were inadequate, right? And Stephen A. Smith contributed to that because he quoted him. You know what I mean? So I would say, now I don't have any proof of this, but it's too much of a coincidence that then Stephen A. Smith was going on a campaign to different places, saying this same narrative about how unprepared you were allegedly for life. You know what I mean? And how and it all led to them wanting to have this age limit. So that's one thing, right? And then another part of it, and this is a part that I witnessed myself, which is always so unfair because so many of the media contributed to this. And this is where I get into the issues now when I'm talking with the media and saying, because let me say, like David Aldridge, that's my guy. OG, nothing but respect for him. We disagree all the time, but that's my guy, right? So one thing that he doesn't like when I use the term the media, because he says it puts all of them in one bucket. And he's like, we're not all the same. You have this media personality, you have media personalities, you have journalists, and I get it. I get what you're saying, right?
But they're complicit though. When
No,
they
wait,
say, like,
you're right. I'm making a point. So I was like, but I don't hear any of you all condemn when Stephen A. Smith was going on a campaign to denigrate Kwame Brown. I don't hear anybody saying anything. And I challenged different media people. I did a podcast and I the one that Gilbert didn't like that I did with all the media people. And I had Michael Lee and who I have John Mitchell from the Washington Times. I don't know if you remember all of them, but they was all around when we were there. And then Mike Wise from the New York Times. And I asked them, I challenged them. I was like, well, I didn't hear any of y'all, distance yourself from the things that Stephen A. Smith was doing. So how are you not lumped in? Because you have to do something to this. You have to say, look, this does not represent me. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want to get lumped in with it, you have to distance yourself. And
it was too much. It was too much money in it. You can say something about Kwame Brown right now, and people have been conditioned so much, you'll go viral. And so Mike Wilbon did the same thing. Yeah. He's another one that would say all kind of outlandish stuff, and I'm just like,
you said who?
Mike Wilbon.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, these two slob, doofus-looking dudes that can't play sports, that don't have an athletic bone in their body, they're literally like, it's almost like the athletic nerds that used to get stuffed in the lockers. It's like Revenge of the Nerds. They literally have people calling Russell Westbrook West Brick. Yeah. How can Skip Bayless, a guy that can't play basketball, who couldn't even make a high school team, come up with a name that people in the real world will call somebody that's a top 75 in the NBA? A name.
No, I agree. And that's why, okay, so when you went off on everybody, and you was like, F you, like that, when you went off on everybody, I had so many media people call me and be like, hey, could you talk to your man Kwame? He's really upset and everything like that. My phone was blowing up off the hook because you went down the list of the people on the team.
Guess what they did to fix that? Because you didn't call me. They had what's his name? Dr. Boyce Watkins, aka Moise Watkins, compare me to a cult leader.
Yeah, I saw that too. And
all they do, guess what they do when they don't like the truth? They get on the smear campaign. Then they have Gilbert Arenas come out. I haven't been around Gilbert Arenas in 20 years. He tell everybody he drinks all the time. He does this all the time. I say, Gilbert Arenas, I haven't been around you since 2004. Yeah. I'm in my 40s. Are you doing the same thing or whatever you were doing in your 20s?
Yeah.
Like for just so quick with the slander when it comes to me that I just know that it got to be something else. It got to be something different. Why they want to invalidate my words?
But it was so. The thing with Stephen A. Smith, I mean, honestly, all he has to do is say my bad to you. Like, yes, okay, I was wrong, but it's like that pride. Like we're all like that was a long time ago. There's no
Stephen A. I don't think he was wrong. If you listen to Stephen A. Smith, the one thing he tell you the truth. I'm just doing my job, and I do believe you're right. He got paid to do a job, and I wouldn't even know who to start off suing. Like, I guess him and Sally Jenkins and Disney and ESPN.
Because
the things they said, I'm like, okay, let's match up my real life. Because everybody knows me in my town. My grades are right there. Let's match up my actual life with what you guys are saying. And let's figure out how can you prove this. Because it's crazy what they said.
Well, so with Sally Jenkins, she was just, is it Jenkins or Jennings? One of the two.
It's Jenkins.
Sally Jenkins, she was just making up things. So those were things that were outright lies.
I might have to go read this thing.
So that is everything that she listed, all the stuff that she told, and she actually won an award for, which is the crazy part afterwards. Those were lies. So that's defamation of character. Like you can prove that. Stephen A. Smith, what he does, he just went on this campaign of, just calling you with all these different names, but he wouldn't stop. Like, it's one thing, okay, you've given your opinion, you said what you felt about this person as a player, okay, you said it, and then you move on, right? But he just continuously did it, and it's like, wait a minute, that's not normal. Like, why would you, like, you making this so personal, like, this has to be something else, like the situation with Kyrie Irving. It has to be something else. It can't be just that you're that offended by Kyrie Irving, what, because he didn't want to take a vaccine? Because he...
No, it's because the popularity. When I went to the #1 draft pick, I'm instantly popular. And you add that right next to Michael Jordan, okay, it goes even worse. So then if I won't succumb to whatever narrative that you want to push, then they'll take that popularity away from you. That's what they do with everybody. Kyrie is so popular because he's not only is he a good player, but he dresses up and he does the commercials where he goes and dresses up at different people. So he has the youth. A lot of the young people know Kyrie because of that. And so when you are impressionable, when you can control a lot of people, if Kyrie stand up and don't take that thing in his arm because he don't know what it is and that's what they're pushing, then he might encourage all of his followers, which is a large following, to do everything. And so I did a check, right? Most of our, if not all of our A-list celebrities that are Black, they're all Democrat, and they all say the same exact thing. And if they fall out of line, they treat him like Kyrie. Kyrie was one of the only Black males I've seen, besides the young man Jonathan something in Orlando.
Jonathan Isaac,
that was vocal about not taking that jab. Jonathan Isaac was able to play in Brooklyn, but Kyrie wasn't able to play in Brooklyn because nobody knows who Jonathan Isaac is. Not a lot of people, but everyone knows Kyrie, so he got to be extra punished because he got out of line because he's an A-lister.
Yeah, but I think it's more than that, though.
That's it, though. You know how many people Kyrie could change their minds about having their own thought? Most people scroll through Instagram, find out what they're going to eat based on where Cardi B is going, based on where Meg Thee Stallion is going. That's why she was at the inauguration
I'm telling you, they go get a celebrity to coerce people to do everything. That's why I don't succumb to the celebrity thing.
Yeah, but with Kyrie, it was so personal with Stephen A. Smith. Like it was like he personally offended him somewhere where that it was like something else that we don't.
It wasn't personal with Stephen A. Smith. It was personal with his bosses. His bosses hired Stephen A. to be the mouthpiece. So you looking at Stephen A., it ain't Stephen A. Stephen A. is just doing his job. You know how many Stephen A's there are in the hood? There's Stephen A's in my chat. Man, for that mighty dollar, people will turn into anybody. So yeah, it's not more so about Stephen A. than the people who pay Stephen A. I want you to come out of the shadows and tell us your real opinion. Don't use this black man to do it. He loves doing a job that white people ask him to do.